Welcome back to the R.D.C. show. Derek,
Chris,
Richard.
I got the next segment here. I would like to, first of all...
Welcome back from commercial.
Welcome back. Welcome.
oh man, you didn't bust his thing, man. He was doing good, man.
Well, I was going to talk about how all the proposals got voted down.
Okay.
That
In Michigan,
was,
1 through 6.
1 through 6 in Michigan, which is, I think, a little bit of a shock to me. I mean, I didn't think all 6 of them would get shot down, but... And the millage got shot down too, so that was good. But the union ones... I wanted to talk about again, and just saying about how we don't need them anymore. Is that they like sort of use that whole thing about giving people the benefit or the speak to be able to say their mind against them to make money off of it, dude. They don't even need to be there. The union are like the insurance companies.
But without unions, you'd be making $2 an hour.
No, you wouldn't, dude.
Yes, you would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes,
No, you wouldn't.
What do we make before unions?
I don't know.
You need to study.
This is 2012.
You need to study history, Derek.
But this is 2012, man.
It
I ain't
doesn't
got
matter.
nothing to do with anything before it happens. Right now that I'm
right
talking.
now, the only reason you get what you get is because people are afraid of being unionized.
I am not talking about what a union was back in the 50s or whatever. I'm
no,
talking about
but Derek,
unions
the
now.
only reason you get what you get
Is
from
what
your
I'm
job
talking now.
today is because they're afraid. If enough of you guys went union, they
None
would have to
of my
unionize,
job
and then
has
they
ever
would
been a
mandatory.
union, so it never made it that way.
But they're afraid of being unionized. That's why they. If you're working somewhere that treats you good.
Well, then,
That's
dude,
why
just
you
like
should
I
do it.
said before, man, it's the government's fault.
But how
then, dude,
long have
because
you
then
gone-
they should have
how long
fucking
have you
handled
gone-
that shit a long time ago.
How long have you gone without a raise?
It's been quite a long time.
Wouldn't you rather have one every 6 or 7 months?
Well,
mandatory?
absolutely.
Wow,
Union jobs ain't getting them too.
You like without
all union jobs ain't getting them.
union jobs they get raises.
Not all
mandatory.
union jobs
yeah,
do.
Yeah, they do.
No,
they might stop
no.
at a ceiling, but they have
They
a
might
ceiling
yeah.
they can still get to. You have no
Yeah.
ceiling you can get to. Neither do I. We're stuck at what they give us because that's what they say.
Well, that's what we're getting right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were with a union, you would have.
Well, I'll just
been
go
here-
find a new job.
I've been here for 5 years. I
I'm
haven't
going to
called
look for a
in.
new job.
I work
is what
hard
I'll
every
do.
day. I deserve a pay. Union would say,
I'll find my own
yeah,
raise.
he does need a raise.
Yeah.
But see, without unions, you have jobs like you work now where they don't give them to you.
What's that?
Where me and you work, the kind of companies we work for,
Yeah.
we worked there forever. I've been in my company for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just finally got a raise. But I went 4 years working there without getting anything at all, even a howdy doody. But the reason, if I could have a job where I could get those raises, if I could get a union job,
Oh yeah.
I would take one in a heartbeat.
I would take one.
But you're telling me they shouldn't exist. But now you're telling
Well,
me
I'm not some dude that makes fucking
You're
$100 grand a year.
you're
None,
basically-
dude.
you're
Man, I'm
basically-
looking out for
you're
to
basically-
look out
you
for
don't-
myself
you
for the
don't-
moment. Hell
You don't,
yeah,
but you
shit.
don't like them because you don't have one.
No,
and you've never had
no, no.
But
I
you
worked at Meyer. Meyer is a union.
Fuck that.
Well,
I
was
wouldn't
going
get
with
no
what you said
raises
earlier.
at Meyer.
'Cause earlier you said you never had a
Well,
union job.
technically, no. I never worked for a union. Well, I mean,
I
they
guess-
are a union,
Yeah,
but
they are a union, so you did.
but still, yeah.
My only question is, what
I don't think I
heard,
worked there long enough.
I heard basically the only part that I've heard that you don't like about unions, your big problem with them is corruption.
Well, it's
Well,
corruption and it's that we can't
Yeah.
get the job.
No,
Yeah.
no, no,
See-
no,
no,
look,
look,
I want
hold
to
on
talk
a
about this
second.
part.
Last
Let me
week-
talk to
Last week off
Yeah,
camera.
it's
just the
The
corruption.
corruption.
But last week off
The
camera.
main part.
Do
of
you
it
think
all, yeah.
that? Do you think that
Yeah, it all is corrupt.
if there wasn't any corruption, let's say there was like some insane amount, like a 0.3% corruption rate or whatever among unions, and it was all fair, and it was something that took
Is there
both
that
the
study?
interest of the company and the employee into consideration,
Mhm.
and didn't put one above the other because it really shouldn't be. Let's say there's no corruption. Do you have a problem with unions?
Well,
Because
I
you
don't know.
understand
Hold on.
why? Do you
Can
know
they get the,
No,
can
why
they
we-
get the
you know
numbers?
why we have unions?
Are them numbers
Wait,
doctored?
What happened to make people
Huh?
rise up?
Derek,
Are them
and
numbers
clog-
doctored?
Last week off camera, did you not tell me when I said that I thought the whole country should be unionized and everybody worked for a union? You said, I agree.
Yes, I said all or nothing. I said all or
So
nothing.
basically, your hatred for him is because you're jealous. that you
No,
never had
no,
one.
I'm
no,
not
you-
jealous
you-
of the union,
Because
dude.
you-
I don't.
you
I'm
told
not
me-
jealous
you
because I
told
don't
me you
have a
didn't like
union
them.
job.
You told me you didn't like them because they keep us from getting them. Because now, when you're right,
They keep us from getting.
remember you said because like a GM, someone worked there, The only way you're getting in there is if you know somebody that works there.
Well, that's a lot of
and
jobs
that's how the
that
unions
pay
work.
more money, though.
But that's
man.
what you were telling me that one. You're
Right.
like,
Right.
I don't like them because they don't let us get
Right.
in there. They don't let
Right.
us get the union
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah, that's true.
But if they were everywhere,
All regular jobs are like that too, man. It ain't easy to get even to, the job that I got into.
well, no. But
I mean,
that was just the point. You had told me that you didn't like unions because the only way you got into a good union job is if you knew somebody that already worked there.
well, basically that's is how it is, though. Yeah, yeah.
The one thing that surprised me
So I don't
about
expect
that is,
to get a job at one.
There's people out there that have
Well,
a
no,
union job.
me
Richard,
neither.
that are,
Me neither. But I'm saying I
I'm
don't
gonna
want him to
try.
go.
Shit.
I don't want him to go away because I would like to have one of those jobs.
What do you feel
I would
about-
like to have a job that if I broke my leg walking up my porch in the
Not
middle of
that
winter,
many there.
my job would still be there because my union is going to represent me and say, this guy broke his leg outside of work. He wasn't a bad employee. He doesn't deserve to lose his job. We're going to hire a temporary guy. If that happens to me
Well,
now at the
other
job
jobs.
I'm at, that job ain't going to be there when I get my leg taken out of the cast. You probably
It would be
either.
for me.
You think it would be
Yeah.
sitting there waiting for you?
Yeah.
And would have some young studs
As long as
making
it
less
ain't
money?
As long as it ain't, real long.
Let's say you had cancer or something.
I got a question for you.
Well,
What do
Would
you
you like
think
to have
about
the
the-
That's
job,
a little
knowing the
different.
jobs and be there? Look,
that's a little different, dude. You're
Look,
talking
you know the
about
girl.
something totally different.
at the warehouse who had the motorcycle accident,
Yeah.
look at how fast they swept her job under the rug. Canned her without her even coming out of a coma. It was a matter of days, and it was like, yeah, she used to work here. We don't need her no more. I'm like, damn, you guys ain't gonna hold her job at all? It's cold-blooded, man.
I don't know so much about that, but I got a
That's how
question for
jobs
you.
are.
What do you
Yeah.
think about right to work legislation? Because it's on its way.
Right to work. You
Yeah.
mean what does that say though? I mean, what's it?
Right to work legislation states that the companies can hire, you can work at a job and you do not have to pay union fees. So you could get a job at GM or like one of the local places that works for them that has a
But it's
union
not
shop.
mandatory that
But you don't have. You can work there without being in the union.
But you don't get none of the union benefits either.
No,
Right.
you do. You get they're protected under federal law under the equal pay law.
As well.
Yeah, so they'll get all the benefits and they'll be able to leech off the unions, work alongside the union members, get everything that the union members get.
But-
They'll get all the same health care.
But isn't
They'll
a
get
lot
the
of
same
them
raises
union-
because the
Isn't a
federal
lot
law
of them
says that
union
they're-
laws already in
See,
law
But yes, there
without
is.
the union even being there?
There is federal protection for right to
The
assemble.
union
and
doesn't
right-
make the minimum wage go up all the time, does it?
No. The union minimum wage would be like $12 an hour by now if it did.
No, no,
It would probably be lower.
no.
It'd probably be lower. No,
The only
union
reason
would
a
want it
union gives
lower.
a shit about anybody is because they get paid by them. Well, there's by the employees. That's why they operate, because they get paid by the employees, and they do not care about people who do not pay dues.
Well, right.
So,
Well, yeah,
but
they
and with right to work legislation, you're going to have people who are working in union jobs
Getting
With
all the
normal
benefits
union
without
jobs,
paying for it.
without paying any union dues. They don't have.
And what's
they
funny
don't have a
is-
voice in the union, so they don't get to vote.
And what's
or anything
funny
like
is
but-
is that not the definition of redistributing? You know, these people are getting everything that the other people are getting, but they're not paying into it. Isn't that exactly the,
I find it
what
weird that
Republicans complain
there's
about?
people
Yet
right
that
now that
is a
get
Republican bill and a Republican law.
there's people
the
right now,
conservative
Richard, that I
law.
bet you probably deliver to that work in union shops. They are union members and they benefit from all the things that come along with being a union worker.
They don't pay into it.
No, they pay into it, but they vote against it.
Oh yeah,
They vote against their own good.
Well, look at you're talking about proposals. Look at the proposals in Michigan. They were all voted against in their own good. Most of them, we gave the governor the right to crush unions, the right to build a bridge, the right to tax us at any time he wants. So people
the union-
always vote against their best.
So the
interests.
unions, you get your raises and stuff every year, but you always got to pay dues. Doesn't that go up every year?
Not necessarily.
Or is that per contract?
It's per contract, I believe. I don't know
You have
because
to
I've
ask
never
somebody.
been
Yeah.
union job, but I know, like my dad.
Right.
All I
He
can tell
talked
you as
about
far as union labor
It didn't go
goes,
up
and,
every
it,
year.
and this is the reality for me. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road for me. This is what union jobs mean to me in reality.
Yeah.
When GM was in town and they were building lots of cars, and there was lots of union workers, I had a good paying job. I had a future.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I know.
When it all
I
left,
know.
my fucking everything I worked
Everything
for
was fucking
gone with it.
Oh yeah.
So in my
Well, you
opinion,
wanna
they
see-
happen to be something good.
We can
But you
show you
gotta
that.
adapt.
Look, we can
Can't
show
just
you
let
that in
that
Michigan
happen.
right
Adapt. Yeah, I hear this nonsense
Yeah.
about adapting. What
What
the
do
fuck
you
am I
mean?
supposed to do? I work 57 hours a week. Who
What
the
are you
fuck
doing?
goes to school and ain't going 57 hours a week at minimum
Well, you
wage?
got to work around that. You can't work 57
Where's the money
hours
going to
a
come
week.
from? I make $307
I don't
a
know,
week
dude.
and $250 if it goes
I
for
know.
bills like that. It's gone.
know.
That's
I
before
know.
college.
I
Where the
know,
fuck is it
dude.
going to come from?
I know.
How do you pull yourself
I know.
up by your bootstraps? I hear
I
that
know
line
that
of shit
shit.
all the time, and it's bullshit.
No,
I'm sick of
it
hearing
isn't,
it.
dude.
And all you people who think
Yes,
that
you
way,
can,
you're
man.
fucking ignorant.
Crazy, man.
Ignorant.
No way.
You can't. I heard the same shit on the radio this
No
week.
way.
The guy
Yeah,
said,
that's
"Oh, these auto
pretty much
workers
the
lost their
Republicans-
job."
That's what they say.
No, listen, they
You
said
got to adapt.
The-
That's what
you
they were
gotta
saying
adapt.
about the election.
Friday, dude. Friday.
That's
Whoever was
Friday.
on the
I'll
whoever was on the
fucking
Michigan
adapt.
Morning Show on Friday
Just because
said
something
that
ain't
the
there
auto
doesn't mean I
workers,
can't go find something else.
the auto workers should have taken a night class while they were working on the line to find another job in case
Have
their
you ever
job
seen
went
the
out.
city of Flint?
Only people who fucking
Yeah, I go to
stupid
Flint all
don't
the
ever
fucking
have to
time.
think about
Yeah, and
that.
how does it look? Well, now it's
Looks
better.
like shit.
Now it's better. That's
Still looks like shit.
yeah,
That's
but that's
insane.
adapting. What happened to them was all the car companies' union jobs left.
Yeah, I
Flint
know.
went to what it was,
I know.
and they adapted to what they are now. Was that good
They have
adapting?
no choice.
Well, yeah.
They have no
That's what
choice.
Chris was talking
That's
about.
dangerous,
It's a little hard
dangerous,
to adapt
dangerous.
to that.
I
You
just
have
find
no
it
choice.
ridiculous. I've heard that before, and it
No,
it
I'm
blew
not
me
talking
away.
about the people that work there, dude. I'm talking about the people that had the dream of working there. You can adapt. You still have the choice to change your mind and go do something else.
Is it possible? Yeah, it is.
That's not your fault. I mean, you could have done something else, man. You were still young.
It depends
When
where
did
you
GM
are.
go down? When did GM go down? Was that the early 2000s?
He'd already been a roofer for a good 10 years.
When does that shit go down?
Regardless, dude.
I don't even
Regardless,
remember.
it's not about adapting.
Well, it was
it's,
when Obama pretty much was in there.
it's not that there isn't work that needs to be done.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
oh,
The
nine.
first time, yeah.
You know?
It's people don't have the money to pay. That's the problem. The work didn't leave. The work's still
Well,
here.
no, yeah.
Plenty of people got shitty roofs
Oh,
that
I
need
know.
to be done.
I know.
So
I
the
know
work
there's a
didn't
lot
leave.
of work here. I know there's work here.
I just find it, that whole attitude of you should have adapted or you should have saw it coming or blah blah blah. That's ridiculous. That's Monday morning quarterbacking shit.
No, like,
Yeah,
That's like when you hit a deer, you say, someone says you should have saw that coming. But you didn't see it coming, did you?
yeah, no.
So you can't
But-
see everything coming. You couldn't adapt.
Well, I'm saying, but it's good to say. It's one of the things you're good to say.
Well, it's
just
good to say, but
it. No.
It's also good to say
No.
that, the sun will come up and go down. It's a good thing to say, but it doesn't mean anything.
Well, damn, I ain't talking about the
the
sun.
pull yourself up by your
Yeah.
bootstraps
Sure.
type shit. It's just horse shit.
Dude,
it's
you're a
horse shit.
human being. You can live. Dude, we never used to have none of this shit. We never used to have any of this shit, dude. What do we do?
Okay.
They fucking
We
adapted.
evolve. We
I'm
They
working-
evolve.
straight up, but it's still adapting. Evolve is still a type of adapting, is it not?
There is no upward movement, okay? This idea, that's a 1950s idea, okay? There's no upward movement in this society.
No, I didn't say there was.
So how
Not
the
unless
fuck
you're
am I
Honey
supposed
Boo
to adapt?
Because you're a human.
Well, you have adapted, Christopher. You're still alive.
You're
You-
still alive.
You're still
right?
alive.
Yeah.
You haven't lost your
You
house.
have adapted, yeah. For
You're
sure.
not. You're not. In,
Always.
You're not living.
We're talking
comfortable,
about
but you're not bankrupt.
$600 a week bring home. That's what I brought home. Down to fucking half of
Christopher,
that?
When I worked for,
And I'm
Sol-
supposed to go,
Look,
oh, now I'm
Christopher,
going to go to school and all this other shit. That just ain't
well,
real.
Christopher,
It ain't
I'm
real.
when
not
I worked
saying
for
to go to
Sullivan's, I was
school
making
and shit,
15
man.
an
Then how
hour.
am I going to move up?
You hear me? When I worked for Sullivan's and those guys worked for me at that thing, I was making 15 an hour, and that was all the way back then. That was in 2001. I was making big money. I had money coming out everywhere. And I had to adapt when I lost that job. And they just left this town. It had nothing to do with anything except for they decided they weren't coming back to Lansing. And they weren't going to renew the contract. And so I was out of a job in 5 months. And
I don't know, man.
I understand how your frustration, because I went through it too. Because there was a point when Derek says you should adapt. You used to be able to adapt. He used to be able to lose a job and adapt, getting another one.
It was easier.
But then all of a sudden it went from you can adapt because there is nothing to adapt to.
No.
Because everything is shitty and you're stuck in a shitty existence. That's the anger that drives you mad. Is we used to be able to do that, and we should be able to do that.
I understand. I do understand.
I don't mean to get all bent out of shape.
No, you're good.
Apologize,
You're good, man.
You know,
that's good. That's good. That's good TV.
But, but dude, I poured my heart and soul into that job, and that was going to be my career, and it was not the easiest fucking road, dude. I'm talking about years and years and years.
Christopher, when I was running that kitchen, I was never doing anything
that
again.
happens in life. Dude,
yes,
you know
absolutely. I'm far beyond the last person that ever got, had shit blow up in their face and had to restart.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that this notion that, you can just go from, it's a choice. Like you hear about it in the presidential election that we had. Mitt Romney says, well, if the federal government doesn't give you money, just borrow it from your parents.
Yeah.
What if your fucking parents don't have any money?
Right.
How are you going to borrow it?
Exactly,
I mean, these attitudes that are so far the fuck out there, it's like you...
No, society is a lot harder these days, for sure. I know it is.
I don't know. I mean,
the days of one person working and the other doing whatever are long gone.
Well, it was like it's one of the things they said during the election. Romney kept pointing up. You don't have a future as bright as your father did. How did you ever think? Either of you ever think you were going to have a future as bright as your dad?
I saw it.
Did you ever think you would have the benefits that your dad has or the retirement?
I saw there's a possibility that it could.
See, we knew we weren't going to get that. We knew her a long time ago, and they tried to make you think it was all Obama's fault. No, it's all your guys' fault. The reason is because of what all you guys did.
I ain't never going to stop trying to prove myself.
Look, it still is unions, because I'm going back.
What anybody says,
you know,
union or not.
Do you know why the unions went corrupt, and do you know why they hate Republicans so much?
Why? Who does?
Unions.
Oh,
why did they go corrupt? Why did they become nasty? And why did they fall apart? And why did they start backing Democrats hard? Do you know who they put into office? Who used them to get into office and then turn around and stomped on their throat? One Ronald Wilson Reagan.
Good old Ronald.
He used the unions with talks of greatness. And that's really, when you go back and study, that's really the downfall of unions and when they became corrupt. And why did they become corrupt? Because they trusted a man who they put in the White House, who turned around and started crushing them and helping the people they were fighting, the big corporations, the people with all the money. And once he did that, unions is not an excuse or a reason, and I'm sure there was some problems with union members being corrupt before that. But the majority of the corruptness in unions came because they were being destroyed, they were being picked clean by clean. Now imagine you're working at, let's say, McDonald's or some fast food restaurant, and one by one they start closing, and you know your day is coming. Aren't you going to try to sell as many hamburgers as you can while you're still in business and take as much cash as you can because you know the doors are going to close real soon? And that's exactly what happened to those union people. They seen that they were all getting screwed over and put out of business, so they said, man, we better grab what money we can. So yes, they are corrupt, and yes, they became corrupt. But unions can be fixed. I don't think it's nearly as bad as they say it is. It's not as bad as they say it is. Because there's no union out there. There's no union out there that has an interest in ruining the company they work for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's not in the union's best interest
to ruin the company because they don't keep getting checks.
So they sit down and the company has to open their books and say, okay, this is what we're making. And
without the employees making money, without the employees making money and getting raises, unions don't get paid. So their best interest is to keep that company thriving.
It don't work like
making
that,
a dollar.
You know, what Derek's saying though is a reality though.
Oh yeah, they don't let anybody in there. They don't.
They're abusive with what they do because the system broke down.
Yeah.
You know what? The reason.
That's what I was just saying.
One thing about the unions that I don't like is the whole seniority rule.
I've heard that argument quite a bit.
I don't like that shit. It does. It's. You know what I mean? I understand it to a point, but man, you got to give other people that are more prepared, and you just ain't doing shit, man. And you know you ain't doing shit. Just milking that shit.
Well, it goes back to something you bring up all the time: term limits.
Yes.
Should be term limits on good jobs.
Oh yeah.
Once you have a job,
that will keep the workforce flowing.
But to do that, we have to pay them enough so they can retire in 20 years, so that somebody can get that job.
Well,
and when you start doing that, Derek, then we start becoming socialists and communists.
Oh yeah, right.
And liberal scum and this, that, and the other thing.
You know what though? I'm starting to understand his stance on it a little bit more, though. And I don't know if it's so much corruption, but it's that they're seen as an obstruction for upward movement. Am I right?
Say that again.
They're like an obstruction to upward movement. In your
opinion. Yeah.
They are preventing people from progressing.
Well, they can. Well, and even though they say that people have more to say,
do you think that's something?
I don't think they
can
say
be sorted
they
out
don't
in
have
practice?
as much of a voice as they think they do.
See, well, you do
Here's
because you
what I
get
think.
together and you vote and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
these
but
people can be
everybody's still-
brainwashed just like
Yeah.
they are in the normal
Exactly.
election. So
Yeah.
What I would have to say is, it's probably, I understand his point of view. I understand Chad's point of view, and I also understand what Dad had to say on the subject.
big lip, he'd come on the show.
Yeah.
But it really is, though. It's the system. The reason that the unions don't work, for all you union workers who hate your union, this is the problem with unions, and that is member participation. Do all the members of the union vote? How many of them vote?
Right.
Is the
It's
union
just like with the election.
I
if
feel
only
like
a
if the
certain
union
group
was-
show up, that group's going to win.
right?
do all the
Exactly.
time. Over and
But
over
that's
again.
what we have in reality, and the whole political system, regardless of what you're talking about, whether it's proposals, politicians, or whatever. It's the ones who scream the loudest seem to win. You know what I mean?
The ones that show up.
The unions are like another party almost. They're like another political party, a little mini political party.
You got, but when I think about unions, I think about the auto workers in Detroit who are fighting for the right to, just to
Locking themselves in the
survive to
factories
fucking
and sitting
cash their
down.
paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, and people died down there for that
Oh.
stuff.
Oh.
You got coal miners in Kentucky who are saying, that we can't work like this.
Digging
They're
underground,
way fast.
making
They're too
making
fast.
$1 a day digging underground and bringing
Well, it's
in
not
about
only that,
fucking
it's the
millions
fact
of
that they're
dollars
going to
of gold.
fucking, their promises of
Right.
retirement they'll never
Yeah.
see because they're going to drop
They're-
dead
yeah,
long before that on
long before
fucking
that.
coal, in
Coal
their
dust
lung.
and shit.
Yeah.
So
This is the shit that the reason that the unions are founded, and I believe strongly in it, and I understand that it's corrupt. In my opinion, we shouldn't kill the unions. We should simply go
The
in
main
there and
principle of a
change.
union, I understand.
Yeah, it's a policy thing.
But it's not there anymore. And you can't change it, just like we can't change a lot of
no,
shit.
you can change it just like they change healthcare. They can
No,
do,
they won't.
do the
They
same
can't
thing with
change it
unions.
that fast.
You can do the same thing with the unions doing with healthcare. Make a
What, you're just
nation.
gonna fire everybody up at the top?
No, you
All
just
the
make
motherfuckers are probably
you just-
corrupt.
You
Shit.
make a nationwide union where people can buy into it, just like Christopher said with the healthcare. A nationwide healthcare thing where everybody, no matter how much money you make, can buy into it. Nationwide union, the same thing, and everybody can get benefits. And you tie the two together. It solves one big
It doesn't
problem.
have to be a union. The Red Cross, that should run all of our medical. Just call it the Red Cross. We've known that for
The Red
ever.
Cross Union.
No union. Take the union out. Just the Red Cross.
Well, I guess that's about it for that topic.
That was a long one, and we have no idea.
All right,
how long.
peace.
Peace.